Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel, here with Evan Tice with Appalachian Vans, and he just built out this really cool RAM Promaster camper van, and he's going to give us a full tour of it today. And I also want to thank Scott, one of my viewers, for sending me out this awesome Airstream Westphalia tie-dye shirt. So join us!
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks for having me back on the channel. I'm super stoked to show you this new RAM Promaster. I am with Appalachian Vans, so this is our first custom van that we built. Worked with a client, so we tried to, bring their imagination and what they wanted to this RAM Promaster. So this is a RAM Promaster 159 wheelbase. It's a 2500 series. It's a high roof. It's not extended. So as you follow me right in, I'd love to show you. As you can see, we installed a nice hook here for this awesome hanging rope chair. I'll get it out of the way here and we'll get going with the tour. So starting up here, I don't know if you guys remember from my last build, but we did a partition on the last one and my clients loved it. So we went right back with it. We went with a little higher door here. Just a basic swing open door into the cab there. And that just magnets with the latch. And we also brought back the chalkboard here in front on the door. So up top, we have the original shelving here on the headliner. And we just did these bifold simple sliders. So they actually open all the way so you can get as much in there as possible. This helps with storage of the Lagoon Swivel Table arm. So really easy. So up top, we went with the pine tongue and groove. We did a stain on this as we did with all the other woods here. And then for insulation above this, we did rock wool along with the rest of the van. Foam board XPS on the floor, about 1 inch. And that really covers all the insulation, didn't do any spray foam or nothing like that. Down with the floor, so we actually did a little different. We framed out the floors and actually glued them. The subfloor then screwed to those, and we finished with an LP, the vinyl snapped together, waterproof, water resistant, super forgiving floors. So if you are thinking about doing a floor, I really love these. It's the same one that I installed in the last one, and I will continue to install it. So right over here, starting with this first bench here, just a simple latch there for our bodega. So this is a 12-volt chest fridge. There's actually 2 compartments in here. So over here you can actually adjust both sides of this. So you can do, freezer, refrigerator, or all freezer, all refrigerator, however you want to go about it. And then it also kind of acts as like a bench sitting on the edge here, so you can sit on this if you want. We do have the sliders up to the weight rating, so if you choose to. So going right above it is we have our first swivel table. Yes, because later you'll see we have a second one. But so this guy gives you 360 degrees. This is more like kind of a laptop table, hanging out. You can kind of sit on the edge here, use it for all sorts of things. You can go up and down with it. So with this arm, pretty simple. Choose your height, and then you can kind of just tighten it right back up. So for this and the countertop and a lot of the wood you'll see in here, we did go with maple. So we did a bit of a mixture. We went back and forth between maple and birch. But for the hardwoods and the countertop, we jigged together some of these maple boards, stained them, polished them, and it really came out nice. I was actually really impressed with how these ended up working out. So right down here, we went with a plywood maple for the seats. And that's just a 3/4 inch plywood. This one's fixed. And then this guy is on, as you can see, a hinge here. So we actually added the gas strut too, which made a huge difference as far as, kind of keeps it open there, opens it up really easy. And then underneath we have our toilet. So this is the Nature's Head. I'm sure many people have heard of these, but one of the best composting toilets on the market, I believe. Really cool because it vents. And aside from a lot of other ones, the venting is really awesome. So you can go longer term with it. It vents right out the floor with a 12-volt fan, and it's on all the time. Pretty impressive fan. And then right underneath, we have a little latch, and this guy opens, so it's pretty easy to get to if you want to, you know, empty anything, open it up, do what you have to do with it. We've made that as accessible as possible. So as you notice, we don't have any cushions or mattress on here now. So my client actually is having custom fittings for both. And you'll see a little later how these are going to adjust to convert. So once we do get those cushions on there, it's going to make this place and this space way more comfortable moving forward. So moving up to our kitchen area, so we have 2 overhead lockers here, both with gas struts on them, so you can just leave them open. A decent amount of space up here, as you'll see. We'll get to the back, and they're a little different sizing on the headlock unit. And then down here, again, you're gonna see this hardwood maple that we jigged together and used for here. So underneath, we have our cupboard. So we decided to do an inset or undermount sink. I apologize. So it really fits nice with this cupboard, and also running down the line, we have our soap dispenser. This is our main water, unfiltered, and then we also have a filtered water faucet here. So you can also extend for another aspect. We have just a simple stove tray here, so this is really nice for, you know, your toothbrush, stuff that you want to get to in the morning, especially if you're spending a lot of time in your van. Super convenient. And then underneath, you'll see all of our plumbing bits. So we have here is just a single 6-gallon holding tank, and then we also ran one down through the floor. So we did this in the last van, and it worked out really well. So you can decide, you know, if you're at a campground or anywhere where there's grass or something like that, you can just let that water go out right into the earth. Or if you are somewhere where you'd rather be able to move it portably, you can spin your dials there and get the water drainage where you want it. We also have our portable Camplux outdoor stovetop. This really has made, you know, life really portable. So you can also put it on the counter if you want. You can take it outside. And we built this little shelf here, so it's real easy. We drilled a little hole there for underneath. We have our flare there, and it just kind of sits right in there. Pretty nice and snug there. So moving over, we just have our basic drawer alignment. So this top one is kind of, you know, a normal size drawer, I like to think. But down here, we decided to do deeper drawers. So you have 2 open deep drawers. So originally we were going to store things in here like the Camplux stove and stuff like that, but it was really nice that we didn't have to, and now you have all this space here in the kitchen, really accessible, really worked out nice. And then we just did a pure white backsplash here. We did a semi-gloss back here. And you also have this kitchen outlet. So we do have a couple outlets scattered throughout the van that run off the inverter. The inverter is a 1500 watt inverter, so most normal things you can kind of power, especially if you're just powering that one thing at one time. So, you know, coffee maker and stuff like that, if you're just isolating that one unit, you can power it here in the kitchen. If you have a couple different things going on, you want to be a little careful about that kind of stuff. And above, we have actually our dim lighting on right now, but we also have these kitchen lights. So these guys are really nice. I'll turn the dim light off just for a second. And now I'll give you the bright light. So the dim light is a little warmer. It's kind of that nice, you know, ambiance feel, I like to think. But the brighter lights we have there, and we also have the brighter lights here for the main lights. So for now, I'll keep the ambient mood on right now. So we also have this dim lighting go down on the toe kick down here. So there are 4 sets of strip lighting all ran into one circuit. So it all is on this one switch. So we have it down there, here, We also have it on both sides underneath these trims, kind of getting hidden a little bit there. The rest of this here is, so to turn on your inverter. So if you do want to use your outlets, your on-off switch here. You also have your battery monitor just to keep track of everything. You can flip through here and get to see, you know, how much wattage, how much amp draw, voltage, all that, what your percent battery, what your battery bank, you know, needs and can handle right now. And then we also have these two buttons here. So this is for our Wii Boost, which is a cell booster, which a quick flash over to here. So we do have this shelf here with an internal antenna, which then links up to the external antenna. So you will get roughly, they say 30 times the cell range. So we put one of these in the last one. I think it's a great idea to have them, especially with what most people want to do with these. And our client does work on the road, so we do want that. And then this is your on-off switch for your water pump. So a lot of times people just let their water pump, you know, just go right to 12 volt. I like putting a switch on it. I think it's nice to be able to control those things. So if you don't want to have it on all the time, a lot of times it work really hard. You don't really want it to burn out or, you know, push your fuse. So I like to have that. And then we just added, lastly, just a simple USB port, charge phones and things like that. So here you'll see the Max Airfan remote. So this is a fully wireless controlled remote. I'm sure most of you know what the Max Airfan is, but it has all this cool, crazy stuff on here. You can set temperatures, increase, decrease, out and in, full control of the airflow in your van, which I think is super necessary in such a small space. So that Max Airfan kind of plays off of this vent here. So instead of putting two Max Airfans in, we decided to go with this vent instead. So this vent is always open up top. So if you have this pulling through, it'll pull through here. A lot of times, like if you ever turn the fan on with everything closed, you'll hear the suction. And the second you open the door, everything kind of pulls through. So having this always pulls your air from the front to the back. Circulation's huge in such like a small space. So moving right back to the bed area. So this bed we actually made using 3 sturdy beams. So we anchored these guys, these steel beams, into each rib of the van going this way. So it's bolted this way, all the way along. And then we decided, this is actually, I can't take credit for this part, but my client said it would be cool if you could remove the slash, just in case you have to work or get in back there and move around. So we actually made it where these guys can pop up. So on both sides, these guys pop up, and then they sit right in there. Which ended up being huge for me, not totally done the van and having to work back there, which was great. So on both sides, we did put these awesome slider windows in. So they actually went in super easy. We did just like a thin white backdrop to them, which we clamped within the actual frame and the edge trim. And then we did just a birch 3/4, which we edge banded and stained and polyed and sat right in there. So it was really nice to have a sill, you know, when you're in bed. It's nice to be able to set something somewhere. You know, if you have your phone, you have your book, there's something, you can set it there. Now we also did put, I'll skip these guys for now, but we did put this guys for somewhere else so you can put stuff. So this little mesh net, our client has a machine that he wants to be able to plug in while he's sleeping. So he'll be able to plug it in with these guys. So we decided to put both a 12 volt chargers on each side. So each party will be able to use them and then also be able to use this mesh net. And then each person will also have their reading light above. That was super important to them. So as you can see, we did that on both sides, but on this side, it's a little different. So we did put these bed fans in here. So these are the Hella fans, and I'm half and half on them. They're kind of nice. They're pretty easy to install. I was excited about it, and they actually kick out pretty good. I'm excited about it. I think it works really well, you know, in bed. You know, the worst thing to do is sleep hot. So having the fan up there, these two fans down here, sleeping cool won't be a problem. And then back here, as I mentioned earlier, we went a little deeper with these cabinets. So same gas strut system that we did up there, but we did go back about 4 to 6 inches further. So with this being where your feet are going to be, we thought, you know, why don't we get more storage down here? It's not in headspace, and ended up working out really well. So as you can see under the bed, so since luckily we don't have the actual bed here, so you can see it. So mounted underneath the bed is actually a leaf. That leaf is actually going up here. Right here, these ledges actually, you sit the leaf right in the middle. It completes a bench or an extra bed. It works out really well. If you do want this space with the cushions, you can break them down. You can move them around, and it's a full bench. We also have this cutout here. So for one thing, you can slide long pieces from the back to the front, but for my client, a huge thing was for be able to take the cat on the road. So I thought that was really awesome. So we made sure that the cat was going to be able to get from the front of the van to the back of the van, and then you can keep all the cat stuff in the back, and can bring all your furry friends along with you. So we're gonna head to the back garage part. There's a couple more cool features back here. I'll explain some of the systems that we put over the wheel wells. So we did this birch as we did on the slider. So both here are both birch 1/4 inch plies, which we stained along with a lot of all this birch down here. So this is all birch plywood that we use down here. What I'm really excited about is finally getting to build this awesome drawer. So this is a 450-pound weighted drawer. I wanted to do it so bad on my last one, and I had the rails, and my clients were really stoked about doing it. So we did execute on this. It's awesome. Supports so much weight, and we actually, down here, you're probably wondering why we cut diamonds out, and really the answer is like, why not? So it had enough support there. I just wanted to create a frame, and at the end of the day, I was just like, we might as well take a little bit of weight out of the equation. So down here we have access to power. So we have off our inverter, so we have an outlet there, and then we also have your USB and your 12 volt if you do need anything back here. This is for our garage lights, so we do have a dimmer down here. So that is the bright lighting, and I tested it at night. I stayed up late, and it is awesome. It illuminates this whole back spot, the whole garage you can see, and especially once they have a bed on here. Down here over the passenger wheel well, we have our electrical system. So the electrical system is broken down mainly off of a 200 amp hour power supply. So we did go with Battleborn batteries. They tend to be, the top-notch batteries. I was super excited to be able to work with them. So we did 2 100 amp hour lithium batteries, and we wired them in parallel. So imagine that just being one 200 amp hour battery. That ends up getting run up to a fuse up here, a terminal block fuse. And then we also have our on-off switch. So being able to control the entire system with one switch is super necessary, just in case, you do need to control it in one switch. And then we also have our positive and negative bus bar, which it goes to, and everything is wired through all of these fuses up here. So mostly 40 amp fuses, and the middle 100 amp is actually run to our isolator. So we have a lithium battery monitor manager on our starter battery. So the truck battery, the van battery, will flip back to charging this once that battery is full. So the alternator ends up charging back here, and helps a lot, if you're driving a lot, especially if you get like a couple, rainy days and you can't rely on your solar. It's nice to be able to have that option just in the back of your head that your batteries are getting charged. Down here, we have a couple more systems. So we went with this 1500 watt pure sine inverter from Ames Power. Back on the back left, you'll see that we have a breaker box. So we ran our 12 wire from our inverter here through those 2 breakers. So there are 3 outlets. So we have 2 outlets on one 15 amp, and then we also have the kitchen outlet on one 15 amp circuit. So if you are going to power something, you know, more powerful, I think it would end up being in the kitchen. So I decided to put that just on one circuit there. So what's charging this is, like we talked about before, is the starter battery with the isolator. Now we also have solar on the roof. So creating a fully off-grid system is the name of the game when I think about van living, and my clients were really excited about that too. So we actually went with 2 180 watt Pomas solar panels, so 360 watts total. Keeps these charged fairly well. Depending on what you're doing, that is pretty much as much as you would need to keep 200 amp hours jam-packed. And then we also have a shore power over here. So if you ever do get, you know, too low and you do just want to plug in, you can do that. Over here, we have our plumbing system and all of our water. So we have a 20-gallon freshwater tank, and the fill rate is right here. Pretty easy to fill. So from this 20-gallon, it runs down through this silencer hose. So sometimes people would say that this can get a little noisy back here. So I always put a silencer hose on it, and then it runs through this strainer, this filter, just for you know, bigger items. So it protects your filter there, or your pump. Runs through this 12-volt pump, which we have on a switch up there, like we talked about. And then it also goes through this accumulator. So the accumulator is going to help just hold pressure. Like I said before, I put a switch on it, and I strongly recommend putting a switch on it if you're not going to put an accumulator on it. The accumulator kind of saves your pump a little more, just because it is going to hold pressure and your pump's not going to have to work all the time. So having more control on the water system is super important to me. You can see that we have so many shutoff valves. So we have a shutoff valve for going to the front. We also have a shutoff valve coming back here to the water heater. So getting back here to the water heater, we have our fresh water, which goes into one of these ports. And then we also have our propane gas. So the last one, if you did see that video, we did a propane locker, and we put a full 20-pound propane tank in there. This time we were going with a lighter feel. They're mostly weekenders, so we don't need that much propane. So what we're gonna go with is, if I can get it here, just your normal 16 ounce propane cylinders. So we're gonna test this out, see how it goes. And if this works, I'm gonna be really excited, because this is a lot easier than, you know, lugging around a 20-pound propane tank. For the people that are gonna live in their vans like long term, you're gonna be using it all the time, 20-pound, go for it. It's probably going to fit you well. But the 16 ounce is super nice for the people that are just going to go out for the weekend and not spend too much time in their van. It gives them a lot of, you know, flexibility and stuff like that. So we ran the hot water to, as it comes out of the tankless water heater, to this shower head here. So like getting back to this idea of having a lot of control. So if you were to want to run this, we have if you have your propane, you know, screwed on, we have this control valve here. Propane goes in, and then to run your fresh water in, you'll have this shut off valve here and turn on valve. So the second that water goes into here, this is powered by D batteries. So 2 D batteries go in here, and that's what's going to give it the ignite. When that ignites, water's going through, you're good to go. You're gonna get water, hot water, I should say. But we also have it coming all the way back, and we're gonna take that hot water all the way to the front too. So if you don't just wanna use it for shower, like every here and there that you do want it, most people don't need it for the kitchen, but we were already running, you know, hot water. So we said, why not run it back there, just in case you do want it, you wanna set it up and, you know, turn your shutoff valves and run it back up there. That's totally possible in this build. We have this really cool fully maple, what I like to call as the dining room table. So I can't take full credit for this. My clients have been very creative and awesome about coming up with really good solutions to a lot of cool problems. So this guy acts as your dining room table, and then it also completes those benches up there. So we put this swivel mount. So we have the laptop table, as I like to call it, the smaller swivel table. Then we also have this big one, you know, so if you are going to sit down, share a meal together, spend some time together, or just work at the same time, this is a big enough table to do all those things. And it kind of just sits right back here. And on these ledges, we actually ran some of this, it's actually insulation foam, but it works really well to kind of pad in this, and it fits in here really nice and snug. Doesn't make a ton of noise. You also don't want to beat up the table, so if you're driving and you didn't have that on there, you'd mostly scratch up, you know, your really nice maple countertop. So you remember that shore power for the lithium batteries here? So it actually, we just put a little inlet here. Makes it super simple. You park it in your garage, you can plug it in real easy with just a simple extension cord. So
Evan, thank you very much for coming back on the channel to give us a tour of your latest creation, a RAM Promaster 159 non-extended 2500 hardtop. I think I remembered all the specs.
yeah.
Can you walk us through the process? A customer finds you somehow on the internet, you got to tell us how, and what are the steps for them to get a van built for you?
Yeah, so as you remember, if you saw the last video, I built one, sold it, and then, you know, all of a sudden it was something that other people were interested in. So if you do want or are interested in something similar to this design, you can look us up on AppalachianVans.com. Reach out to me, put an inquiry, you know, free consultations and everything. Let's just talk. We can see if, you know, we can work together, if we're going to be a good fit. But we are going to focus more on this design. So if you are wanting something similar to this layout, you can fully customize it after the basic layout and structure. So, you know, bring your imagination, because we work together to solve all these problems, and I think we all have awesome ideas. So it's fun to, you know, work together and see what's possible. So.
And I've been following you on social media, and you're working at midnight at night and working really hard on this project. So I appreciate the hard work. How are they going to find you there?
Yeah, so Appalachian_Vans, or you can just look me up, Evan Tice. It's definitely been a grind, but the process has been so fun. I'm having a blast with it. So yeah, if you want to follow the day-to-day, you can, you know, find me there.
And tell us a story. How did you come up with the name for your business?
Oh yeah, so Appalachian Vans. I know I'm a northerner. I should be saying Appalachian, but I ended up hiking the Appalachian Trail back in 2017. So after I graduated college, hiked the entire trail, and it, you know, that trail is always a little bit in my blood, so I have a lot to owe to that trail. So it only seemed necessary to tie it back in to this awesome van business that we're trying to be good.
Is that what inspired you to start building vans? Is that experience and meeting people that were doing something similar?
Yeah, I kind of always had, you know, been traveling and being around these people that kind of want to live more outside and get more out of their everyday, and building these vans helps me connect with those awesome people that want to, you know, create something specifically for what they want to do. So that's why I would love to customize it for anybody that really does have an idea of their day-to-day, what they want to do, and it's been really fun so far.
Well, I love the tour. You did a great job. Aesthetics are spot on this. It's absolutely beautiful. And this is a great weekender / adventure van. I mean, you could even live in it full time if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's possible to live in it full time. So we kind of bridge the gap between weekender, you know, 4 or 5 days if you really want to. But you know, like I said, it's whatever you need it for. We'll find a way to make it happen.
And if you follow Evan like I do, he's got a lot of cool pictures on his Instagram account of this build-in process. So if you want to see behind the cabinets, behind the walls, as it's all going together, make sure you hop onto his Instagram. Well, Evan, thank you very much. The rain, we beat the rain. This is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. I love it, and we'll see you soon.